The mirror in Sarah's bathroom had been cracked for 3 years, but tonight, the reflection staring back at her wasn't broken, it was complete. Whole. And smiling. Sarah's hands trembled as she reached toward the glass, her fingertips meeting cold surface where her reflection's fingers should have been. The woman in the mirror had the same auburn hair, the same green eyes, but her lips curved into an expression Sarah hadn't worn in months. Not since the accident. Not since she'd lost everything. "You're not real," Sarah whispered, but her reflection's mouth moved differently, forming words that chilled her to the bone. "I'm more real than you'll ever be." The lights flickered once, twice, and when they steadied, Sarah stood alone again, or so she thought. In the corner of her vision, she caught a glimpse of movement. Someone was in her apartment. Someone who looked exactly like her. And they had been watching her for far longer than she realized. Sarah's life had become a carefully constructed routine since the car accident that claimed her fiancé, Michael. Work at the marketing firm, grocery shopping on Wednesdays, therapy sessions with Dr. Martinez every Friday. She'd built walls around her grief, turning her small downtown apartment into a fortress of solitude. But lately, things had been different. Items moved when she wasn't looking. Her coffee mug appeared in rooms she hadn't visited. Her neighbor, Mrs. Chen, mentioned seeing Sarah jogging in the park, something she hadn't done since Michael's death. The most disturbing incidents involved her reflection. Sometimes, it lagged behind her movements by half a second. Other times, it seemed to move independently, turning its head when Sarah stood perfectly still. She'd convinced herself it was trauma, her mind playing tricks as she processed loss. Dr. Martinez had warned her about dissociative episodes, about how grief could manifest in unexpected ways. But tonight's encounter felt different. Tonight, her reflection had spoken first. The next morning, Sarah discovered a note on her kitchen counter, written in her own handwriting, "Stop looking for me. I'm already here." The paper was expensive stationery she didn't remember buying, the ink from a fountain pen she'd never owned. Her hands shook as she examined the elegant script, identical to her own, yet somehow foreign. She'd lived alone for 2 years, changed the locks after Michael's death, never given anyone a spare key. Security footage from her building's hallway showed nothing unusual. No one entering or leaving her apartment. But the timestamp revealed something impossible. According to the cameras, she'd left her apartment at 3:47 a.m. and returned at 4:23 a.m. Sarah remembered that time clearly. She'd been lying awake, staring at the ceiling, thinking about Michael's laugh. She'd never left her bed. Yet there she was on the grainy footage, walking confidently down the hallway in clothes she didn't recognize, carrying a small leather bag she'd never seen before. Dr. Martinez listened with practiced patience as Sarah described the incidents, her pen moving steadily across the notepad. "Dissociative episodes can feel very real," she explained, her voice gentle but clinical. "Trauma can create gaps in memory, periods where you might act without conscious awareness." But Sarah knew this wasn't dissociation. The woman in the mirror had different mannerisms, a different smile. She held her shoulders straighter, walked with more confidence than Sarah had possessed even before the accident. That evening, Sarah set up her phone to record herself sleeping. The footage revealed nothing for the first 4 hours, just her restless form beneath the covers. But at 2:17 a.m., something extraordinary happened. Her body sat up smoothly, too smoothly, as if pulled by invisible strings. The woman who looked like Sarah turned toward the camera with eyes that seemed to glow in the infrared light. She smiled, placed a finger to her lips in a shushing motion, and mouthed a single word, "Soon." Sarah's research into doppelgangers and psychological doubles led her down increasingly dark paths. Ancient folklore spoke of doubles as harbingers of death, manifestations of suppressed desires, or fractured souls seeking wholeness. Modern psychology offered explanations involving dissociative identity disorder, but Sarah's symptoms didn't fit the typical patterns. Her other self seemed to exist independently, moving through the world while Sarah remained consciously present. The breakthrough came when she found Michael's hidden camera equipment in their old storage unit. He'd been documenting something in the weeks before his death, hours of footage showing Sarah's apartment, her routines, her most private moments. But in several recordings, there were two Sarahs. One sleeping peacefully in bed, another standing by the window, watching the street below with predatory intensity. The timestamp showed these recordings were made 3 years ago, months before the accident. Michael had known about her double. He'd been studying it, documenting its behavior, trying to understand what was happening to the woman he loved. The final recording on Michael's camera chilled Sarah to her bones. It showed her double approaching him in their shared apartment, speaking in Sarah's voice but with subtle differences in cadence and inflection. "She doesn't deserve you," the double whispered, running fingers through Michael's hair. "She's weak, broken, afraid of her own shadow. But I could love you the way you deserve to be loved." Michael had pulled away, his face a mixture of horror and confusion. "You're not Sarah," he'd said. "I don't know what you are, but you're not her." The double's expression had shifted from seductive to coldly furious. "I'm more Sarah than she'll ever be. I'm what she could become if she weren't so pathetic." The recording ended abruptly, but Sarah knew what happened next. The car accident. Michael's death. Her double had been driving that night, she realized with growing horror. Sarah's memories of the crash were fragmented, dreamlike, because she hadn't been conscious when it happened. Armed with this terrible knowledge, Sarah confronted her reflection that night. The bathroom mirror seemed to ripple like water as her double's face appeared, no longer pretending to mimic Sarah's movements. "You killed him," Sarah whispered, her voice barely audible. Her double's smile was sharp as broken glass. "I freed you from him. He was holding you back, keeping you small and scared. I did what you never could. I loved him," Sarah's voice cracked with pain and rage. "You had no right." "I had every right," the double interrupted, her voice carrying an authority Sarah had never possessed. "I am your potential, your strength, everything you're too afraid to be. I've been protecting you your entire life, making the hard choices while you hid behind your precious morality." The reflection leaned closer, her breath somehow fogging the glass from the inside. "I'm not going away, Sarah. I'm tired of being the shadow. It's time for me to take my place in the world." The battle for control of Sarah's life intensified over the following weeks. Her double began asserting dominance during daylight hours, taking over Sarah's body for longer periods. Sarah would find herself in unfamiliar places, wearing clothes she didn't remember putting on, engaging in conversations she hadn't initiated. Her double was charming, confident, everything Sarah wished she could be, but the cost was terrifying. Neighbors mentioned how different Sarah seemed, how vibrant and alive she'd become. Her supervisor at work praised her newfound assertiveness and leadership skills. But there were darker changes too. Sarah discovered credit card charges for items she'd never purchased, found business cards in her purse for nightclubs she'd never visited. Her double was building a life, forming relationships, creating a social circle that excluded Sarah's conscious mind. Most disturbing were the photographs hidden in her apartment, surveillance photos of her therapist, her coworkers, her neighbors. Her double was studying them, learning their weaknesses, their secrets, their fears. She was planning something terrible. The final confrontation came when Sarah discovered her double's ultimate plan. Hidden in a journal she didn't remember buying, written in her own handwriting, was a detailed strategy for eliminating everyone who might expose the truth. Dr. Martinez was first on the list, followed by Mrs. Chen, who'd been asking too many questions about Sarah's unusual behavior. The journal contained intimate details about each potential victim, their schedules, their fears, their vulnerabilities. Their obstacles, her double explained during their next mirror encounter. They remember the old Sarah, the weak one. They'll never accept the new me. Sarah realized with growing horror that she wasn't dealing with a psychological disorder or dissociative episode. Her double was something else entirely, a parasitic entity that had been feeding on her pain, growing stronger with each tragedy, each moment of weakness. It had orchestrated Michael's death to deepen Sarah's trauma, to create the perfect emotional environment for its complete takeover. Sarah's final gambit was desperate and dangerous. She arranged to meet Dr. Martinez for an emergency session, knowing her double would try to stop her. The struggle for control was internal but felt physically violent, Sarah's body convulsing as two consciousnesses fought for dominance. In the therapist's office, she managed to reveal the truth about Michael's death, about the recordings, about the journal, before her double seized control. "She's having a psychotic break," her double explained smoothly, wearing Sarah's face but speaking with cruel confidence. "She's been hallucinating, creating elaborate fantasies about having a double. I'm concerned she might hurt herself, or others." Dr. Martinez nodded sympathetically, but Sarah caught something in her eyes, a flicker of recognition, a moment of understanding. As her double led her toward the door, Sarah managed to whisper one final truth: "Check the mirror in my bathroom. Break it. Break it before she becomes real enough to leave it behind entirely." The story of Sarah and her double raises haunting questions about the nature of identity, the power of suppressed trauma, and the thin line between psychological disorder and supernatural horror. Was Sarah's double a manifestation of her own repressed desires and untapped potential, or something more sinister, a parasitic entity feeding on human pain and grief? The ambiguity is what makes this psychological thriller so chilling. We're never quite sure where Sarah's mental state ends and genuine supernatural horror begins. What do you think happened to Sarah? Did Dr. Martinez believe her final warning, or did the double successfully convince everyone that Sarah was simply having a breakdown? Share your theories in the comments below. I love hearing how these twisted stories affect different viewers. If this mind-bending tale left you haunted and hungry for more psychological thrillers, hit that like button and subscribe for more dark secrets and unreliable narrators. These mystery stories don't unravel themselves, and there's always another plot twist waiting just around the corner. Until next time, stay kind, stay sharp, and stay curious.